In this podcast episode, Sophie Rain discusses her extraordinary journey to earning over $100 million annually through OnlyFans, OAF, how she manages her finances, the misconceptions surrounding her career, and the personal and professional challenges she faces. The conversation covers her rise from serving tables to becoming a top content creator, the nature of her content and fan interactions, her investments and spending habits, the societal stigma attached to her work, and her outlook on life, faith, and future plans. Sophie began her adult career as a server in a small Italian restaurant, working multiple roles including hosting, bartending, and cooking. Despite loving the serving life, she realized she could not continue it indefinitely due to financial limitations. Inspired by friends and the booming influence of TikTok after the COVID-19 pandemic, she pivoted to social media, starting with short-form content for roughly 2 to 3 months before launching her OnlyFans account. Building an audience of about 1 million followers on TikTok gave her the platform to introduce her subscription content effectively. Sophie reveals the staggering figures behind her earnings, confirming that she has made around $100 million overall on OnlyFans. She openly showed her earnings dashboard to vouch for the authenticity amid widespread skepticism and accusations of photoshopping. Despite these massive earnings, she admits to paying hefty federal taxes around 37%, which dramatically reduces her net income. She made approximately $83 million last year, paying about $40 million in taxes. Most of her income is reinvested, particularly in real estate and other ventures. While Sophie enjoys luxury items like designer purses, buying 7 in her first month earning $100,000, she prefers to invest the majority of her wealth. She owns 2 properties in Florida, one being a 20-acre farm valued at roughly $3 million, and a lake house worth $3 million. She aspires to operate a cattle ranch and currently cares for 12 cows, 2 goats, a donkey, koi fish, and other farm animals. Her vehicles include a Porsche GT3 RS worth about $500,000, a Cadillac Escalade, a Raptor R, and some unique Japanese imported mini trucks used on her farm. Sophie also shares a practical approach by wearing mostly fake jewelry purchased from Amazon, as she frequently loses accessories. Sophie faces challenges with privacy, referencing instances of fans sending her photos of her own Airbnb or trying to intrude in personal spaces. She experiences unwanted advances, such as people trying to touch her unpredictably in public or airport incidents. To counter threats, she employs 24-hour armed security and has experienced swatting and police visits at her residence. Attempts to shield her location via trusts and removing public records have been met with limited success, as Florida's public property records are difficult to obscure. Sophie challenges the common misconceptions that OnlyFans is synonymous exclusively with adult content, explaining that creators across various niches, such as cooking or stock tips, build income there. She emphasizes that she keeps her content natural and does not engage in explicit performances, aiming to dispel the adult-only stigma. She also addresses false rumors, such as claims that she profits off her friends in the Bop House collective, or that she is pregnant, which she denies. Sophie expresses frustration at the judgment creators endure compared to consumers and stresses the need for education about the platform's diversity and potential. Developing a thick skin has been crucial for Sophie over her career. Early on, negative comments affected her deeply. Now, she mainly focuses on the supportive fans and the positive interactions that boost her confidence. She recognizes the emotional toll of living a public life, yet remains grounded, attributing her resilience to her Christian faith and personal growth. She claims that financial security and knowing her values contribute significantly to her self-esteem, rather than just the money alone. Sophie clarifies that fan interactions vary widely, from casual conversations about daily life and pets to occasional explicit content in private messages. She mostly responds personally to messages, but is assisted by family members like her mother and sister due to the high volume. She candidly discusses uncomfortable encounters, such as fans believing entitlement to her physical space or mishandling personal belongings. Despite these challenges, many fan engagements are positive, and she enjoys meeting new people. Her approach to maintaining and growing revenue involves strategic collaborations with other creators to tap into new audiences. Sophie emphasizes creating distinct content for each platform. TikTok content is for TikTok, Instagram for Instagram, and OnlyFans for subscription content, avoiding direct promotion of OAF on platforms popular with minors. She works intensively during concentrated periods, often dedicating a full week per month to content creation, and then posts consistently throughout the remaining time. Consistency and authenticity are core to her success. Sophie expresses concern about generative AI, particularly its environmental impact and potential to replace real creators with synthetic content. She highlights the electricity and water usage associated with AI's computational demands and views it as harmful if unchecked, contrasting it with applications like research AI, which she supports. She foresees AI potentially undermining online content markets by flooding platforms with synthetic creators, creating challenges for human content producers. Sophie struggles with dating due to her public persona. Many potential partners recognize her or form opinions of her before meeting, making normal relationships difficult. She does not have stringent standards and emphasizes happiness and laughter over appearance or status. Though she admits that having a boyfriend might affect her earnings due to consumer perceptions, many creators successfully maintain public relationships. She is open to dating a fan, but remains cautious and selective. She acknowledges the complexities this career imposes on personal connections. Raised in a Christian household, Sophie maintains that her work and faith are not in conflict. She believes in a personal relationship with God that provides forgiveness and guidance. Having grown up in poverty, her values emphasize self-love, responsibility, and intentional living. She trusts that if her path were inappropriate, divine intervention would have stopped her. Her boundaries are clear. She will not perform any content that makes her uncomfortable, and she promotes honesty and education to combat the negative stereotypes about creators. The Bop House was a collaborative living situation, co-created by Sophie and fellow creators to support each other's endeavors. It operated as a shared rental penthouse in Miami with a collective rent of around $60,000 per month. The primary objective was mutual growth via content collaboration, cross-promotion, and shared resources. Though the lease ended and the house is no longer active, Sophie values the community as a positive ecosystem that expanded exposure and encouraged creativity among its members. Despite her vast income, Sophie confesses a lack of detailed knowledge about her net worth and investment portfolio, highlighting the importance of good financial advisors. She estimates her net worth somewhere between $5 million and $20 million, but acknowledges it should be higher given her revenue and investments. The hosts stress the critical need for creators to acquire financial literacy to safeguard wealth, understand taxes, and avoid mismanagement. They encourage Sophie to engage more deeply with her finances, as many high earners risk losing fortune to poor planning or unscrupulous advisors. Sophie admits to spending lavishly on some items, such as buying her dream Porsche GT3 RS for $500,000 despite it depreciating significantly. She buys luxury purses as a symbol of newfound financial freedom after a poor upbringing. However, she also shares her generosity toward family and friends, mentioning buying a house and car for a close friend and supporting family members financially. She aspires to open a bakery oriented toward charitable purposes, like feeding the homeless, signaling a desire to give back and find fulfillment beyond income. Her work week is intense, often clocking 40 hours or more during content creation weeks, with frequent travel to various cities for collaborations. Sophie recounts her first private jet experiences, some harrowing, such as technical malfunctions, but now values the convenience and security private flights offer, especially when traveling alone. Despite a busy lifestyle, Sophie cherishes downtime spent on her farm, caring for animals, and gaming. She prioritizes balancing work stress with simple pleasures and relationships. Sophie underwent a significant transformation from an insecure, overweight teenager to a confident adult. She credits walking long work shifts and subsequently improving her diet with her weight loss without engaging in frequent gym workouts. Although aware of fitness benefits, she feels comfortable with her current physical state and emphasizes nutrition over exercise. Her journey reinforces themes of self-acceptance and gradual personal growth. Sophie expresses disdain for personalities like Jack Doherty and Clavicular, citing questionable morals and violent behavior she has observed online. She distances herself from the Manosphere and figures such as Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit, disapproving of their messages despite acknowledging their success. She rejects aligning with or endorsing those communities while maintaining a respectful stance against wishing harm on anyone. Sophie addresses the controversial proposed 50% tax on OnlyFans earnings in Florida, calling it an ill-conceived policy that unfairly targets creators without considering the platform's broad diversity. She advocates for better educational resources and reasonable taxation that supports public services like education without crippling creators or small earners. She recognizes her fair share of tax payments and highlights the economic contributions creators make through employment and local spending. She predicts about 2 to 3 more years of relevance on the current platform before new social media trends emerge. Beyond OnlyFans, Sophie is establishing a construction business focused on local barn building and hopes to open a bakery with charitable aims. Her long-term vision involves continuing her farm life, expanding her cattle herd, and living comfortably in the southern U.S., emulating the lifestyle of her grandparents. The Bop House functioned as a creative collective where Sophie and other creators lived and collaborated, leveraging shared content creation and cross-promotion to grow followers and income. This environment fostered camaraderie and boosted individual success. Although the lease ended, the concept showcased innovative ways content creators support each other's growth in a competitive landscape. Sophie's choice to wear mostly inexpensive, fake jewelry underscores her practical approach to material goods. Having lost much of her high-end jewelry over time due to misplacement, she prefers replacing affordable pieces quickly rather than investing heavily in items prone to loss. This mindset represents a balance between enjoying style and avoiding worry over valuables. She deliberately avoids reading negative online comments to maintain mental health, focusing instead on authentic connections with fans and trusted advisors. Over time, Sophie developed thicker skin, enabling her to handle online scrutiny more effectively. She values constructive criticism from friends and family over anonymous detractors, emphasizing self-awareness and intentional content creation. Aside from her digital career, Sophie dedicates significant time to animal husbandry at her 20-acre farm. She cares for livestock, including cattle, goats, donkeys, and ornamental fish like koi goldfish, reflecting a passion for nature and grounded living. She envisions expanding these operations as a meaningful post-content career and lifestyle. Sophie candidly shares the vulnerabilities public figures face, detailing incidents of harassment, privacy invasion, and threats. She relies on legal counsel, security teams, and careful online privacy practices to mitigate risks. These experiences highlight the often overlooked personal costs of internet fame and the need for safety strategies among creators. Sophie discusses the imbalance of scrutiny between creators and their consumers, arguing that creators bear disproportionate criticism. She also touches on how her financial success and visibility challenge traditional gender expectations, particularly regarding relationships and societal judgment. Her perspective calls for greater empathy and understanding of the complexities in the creator economy. She maintains clear moral boundaries by only producing content she is comfortable with, rejecting offers that compromise her values. Sophie recognizes the adult status and autonomy of other content creators and consumers alike, underscoring personal choice while advocating for education about responsible social media use. Efforts to safeguard her home address and personal information are thwarted by public records and state laws. Sophie takes measures such as trusts and legal requests to obscure her data, but acknowledges the difficulty in fully protecting privacy in the digital age. This issue reflects broader challenges for wealthy internet personalities seeking security. Concerns about AI-generated content, disinformation, and its impact on creators' livelihoods punctuate the discussion. Sophie distinguishes helpful AI tools from harmful generative AI, criticizing the latter's environmental costs and potential to devalue human creators' work. She foresees significant changes in digital content landscapes and stresses the importance of authenticity. Despite high earnings and fame, Sophie stresses the importance of emotional well-being, family connections, and hobbies. Caring for farm animals, gaming, and enjoying moments offline help her decompress from the pressures of social media and public engagement. Her approach highlights the need for creators to preserve personal boundaries and mental health. She notes that many critics project their own frustrations onto creators, creating a toxic online environment. Instead of engaging with negativity, Sophie focuses on her success and personal growth. She acknowledges the inevitable judgment, but strives to contribute positively and remain true to her values. Reflecting on her rise from poverty to immense wealth, Sophie expresses gratitude for her fans and opportunities. Her outlook embraces change, continuous learning, and a desire to leave a meaningful legacy beyond earnings. This mindset anchors her career and personal ambitions amid challenges.